Welcome to Love Bite.
My partner and I have been dating for over 3 years, living together, and engaged for 2 years. When we first met, she said she was trying to get into nursing school. She said that I would need to support her financially and be patient in the meantime, which I agreed to do. For the first year, things were good. She took some classes and worked part-time. Due to the difference in our incomes, I agreed to cover the majority of our expenses. Then came the TEAS test, the standardized test she needed to pass. She didn't want help studying, so I let her handle it on her own. She took the test and failed by a wide margin, needed greater than 60% in all 4 sections and scored in the 40% range. She was devastated and came to me for help studying for a retake. I have worked as a tutor for years, so I was happy to help. I quickly found out that she did not have any good studying habits. She was just reading the book and not taking notes. I tried to give her constructive criticism and helpful tips, making flashcards, taking notes, practicing problems, identifying what will probably be on the test, etc. At first, she was receptive. But after only a couple study sessions, she started to get stubborn and lazy about doing the work. This annoyed me a bit as I was using up all my free time to help her study for her test and make lesson plans for her. Eventually, she would bail on study sessions, ignore me by going on her phone, or flat out refuse to do the work. I expressed that this behavior was starting to get annoying and that I felt like my time was being disrespected, and that's when things got bad. She completely shut down, refusing to look at me or respond to anything I said. She continued to stonewall me like this for days, driving off in the middle of the night, not telling me when she would be back, only resurfacing to tell me that she's threatening to move back in with her dad. Oftentimes, she would wait until I had gotten to work or at the gym to resurface with some dramatic "I'm moving out" text, which would completely fuck up my day. Due to how extreme her reaction was to what I actually said, I felt like this was a trauma response, so I agreed to back off and let her handle studying on her own. Fast forward to 2024 and she's now failed this TEAS test 5 times with no plan on where to go from here. Despite this, I have tried to be encouraging and helpful in the ways she allows me to. Although she was once my gym and hiking partner, she now has no interests or hobbies. All she does besides work is eat, doomscroll, and watch Netflix. I still pay the majority of the bills, and there is no light at the end of that tunnel. I felt trapped. My partner was clearly spiraling into depression and refused to acknowledge it or seek therapy. If I expressed any concerns about her behavior or habits, she would shut down and threaten to leave. After one of her meltdowns, I told her enough was enough. I was tired of having to walk on eggshells in fear of abandonment. I got her to agree to come to a couples therapy session, and I did all the legwork to schedule it for us. In the first session, I could already tell something was off. She was unusually quiet and made me do all of the talking, pretending like she was totally fine and that I was the only one with a problem. So, to keep the sessions productive, I would talk about my concerns with the therapist. I told the therapist that I felt like I couldn't express any disappointment or disagreement without fear of retaliation in the form of stonewalling. When they asked me to elaborate, I started to list off my concerns. Of course, this caused the therapist to focus on me because my partner was giving him nothing to work with. Eventually, on the 3rd session, the therapist made some good points about my behavior. They pointed out that even if my criticism is valid and constructive, I should respect how it's being perceived. I agreed with them and was willing to work on that, but expressed again that I needed to be able to communicate concerns without fear of retaliation. We were running out of time in the session, so the therapist asked us if we wanted to book another session, which I agreed to do. That's when it happened. My partner took the one flaw the therapist pointed out in me and ran with it. She claimed it was me who needed therapy all along, that she doesn't want to continue the couples therapy, and that she is going to leave me. The therapist was visibly taken aback. They were trying to reassure us that this is a common communication breakdown that can be worked through, only for her to shut down and cancel all future appointments. She's now claiming she doesn't want to leave. However, she's telling me that I would need to work on my problem with a therapist by myself. I already have a therapist, and that she does not need to attend any more therapy sessions. I can't tell if this is her trauma response trying to run from going to therapy, or if she is actively gaslighting me into accepting behaviors that I wouldn't normally accept. I don't want to leave her, but she is going nowhere in life, is completely unwilling to work on herself, and runs from every situation that makes her remotely uncomfortable. Am I really the only one in the wrong here? How should I proceed with this?